What's going on, guys? It's the Club of the Man 1993 coming at you for a late night review of this week's episode of Monday Night Raw, the November 20th, 2017 edition of Monday Night Raw that took place in Houston, Texas, the Fallout show from Survivor Series 2017. I know this is a really late night review, but I just, I went out tonight and visited some friends I wanted to, so I didn't get to watch Raw live. So I mainly just, caught highlights, saw a good chunk of, stuff that happened on Raw tonight. So I'm going to just breeze through this review really quick because there was a lot that did happen on the show. Some interesting stuff that leaves us wondering, going forward with what's going to happen. And also we had a title change tonight and a big return, even though it was kind of expected and hoping to be for some time. But the surprise alliance as well has come. And I'll talk about that a little bit in this review, but I want to save that more for my turn alert video I'm going to do for this person, which I have 2 turn alert videos I'm going to try to film before I go to bed tonight and hope we get them uploaded tomorrow because I'm just having a crazy week this week with the holiday coming up and just some stuff with work. So that's why I wanted to get this review out of the way with right now. I know it's like 1 o'clock in the morning, but I'm still just want to get some of this stuff knocked out. So overall, for what I saw from Raw and the notes I read and stuff like that, I thought we had a pretty solid episode tonight. A really good fall episode from Survivor Series. Some questions were answered, some weren't, but we do have something basic and simple said down the line. And I can say everything was pretty enjoyable. Even the main event as well, I thought was good as well. So let's get right into this as we talk about this episode. We start off, of course, with, Stephanie McMahon making her way down the ramp, welcoming us to Raw like she always does, and saying, SmackDown never stood a chance, and, she knew that Shane knew that as well. He may have struck first, but, she learned to win, and he said Kurt Angle's job, though, is 100% secure, though, because Raw, survived. But she wanted to do the man responsible for the reason why Kurt Angle's job survived, which is her husband, Triple H. And Triple H makes his way down to the ring. What's up, Lunatic Cringe? How you doing? And then Triple H comes out, and you're expecting to hopefully hear the answers to why he attacked Kurt Angle like he did, as that ending is still confusing. Didn't really get that answer tonight, but Triple H didn't even talk. Immediately, Kurt Angle's music hits, and here he comes out all angry from last night, and he says basically, I have a message for you, and this is not the general manager talking to you. This is the Olympic gold medalist, and he says, if you ever attack me from behind again, you can take this job and shove it, because he's coming after him right now. And then Stephanie insists that, you are the general manager, though, talking to the COO. And you know what? Last week, what you did invading SmackDown Live was great. This intensity, this fire, this is what I want from you. But don't try jeopardizing your career again. So then Jason Jordan comes out, and I'm thinking, okay, Jason Jordan's probably. I feel this heel turn coming now. After how I really was hoping Jason Jordan would have been the one to cost Kurt Angle his spot in the match and have him get eliminated at Survivor Series last night. I was really hoping that would happen because it's going to turn him heel and give him a different direction to go, since this face run with him as Kurt Angle's illegitimate son really hasn't been working out. Despite the good wrestling, the character has just been terrible. So then he comes out, and instead of just getting upset with Kurt, he really goes to Triple H, and Angle's trying to tell him, like, son, don't do this, back off and whatnot. But Jordan says he doesn't care. He wants a match against Triple H tonight after what he did to him. And then like Stephanie tells Angle immediately, you don't have the authority to make this match. And then Jason Jordan goes as far, and this was cool too, though. I like this, though. Jason Jordan went as far as calling Triple H a coward, straight to his face. He called the cerebral assassin, who, as Stephanie said, is not in a good mood tonight. Why? When is Triple H ever in a good mood? When is Stephanie ever in a good mood, for crying out loud? Either way, Triple H is going to still just destroy you, even if you try to, you get on him. He should be happy, though, to the fact that he was the one who he got the spotlight last night, even though Braun Strowman took him out at the end, and he made me a little embarrassed for walking into the stage afterwards as well. But Stephanie says, he'll tear you apart with the mood he's in tonight, and he's too naive to understand that. And also, Triple H isn't afraid of not just him or anyone else in the locker room. And as soon as she says that, Bro! Braun Strowman makes his way to the arena. He gets face to face, chest to chest, toe to toe. He really gets as close to Triple H as he possibly could get. And he just stares him down. And Triple H just slowly backs up. So it's obvious that that's one guy he's afraid of, Triple H. And then Braun keeps staring him down. So then Stephanie decides to book a match with Jason Jordan and Braun Strowman. And Kurt gets between them saying the match is going to have to wait. We get that match later on tonight. So obviously Stephanie was trying to manipulate the stipulation by having, these two go at it pretty much. Even though Jason Jordan saying he's 100% healthy, but we'll see later on tonight that he most likely isn't. And again, this could lead him down to a line of a heel turn. And then we had a match that I thought was pretty solid. It was Finn Balor and Samoa Joe, still kind of renewing their rivalry from their days in NXT, or the NXT Championship, which that was a fun rivalry. And this match was pretty solid as well. I mean, it definitely didn't Houston, first off, I give Houston credit. You guys were an awesome crowd tonight from the stuff that I saw. You were great. The match, it wasn't like exactly what we got from NXT, but it was still solid as well. Both these men came out looking strong, I felt, for the most part. Joe, just his offensive style, and then Balor as well, taking some chances. He had Joe in the palm of his hand at times, but Joe overpowered him, and a couple times he tried getting the Coquina clutch. Balor attempted to escape. He had a couple of follow-ups. He did have Samoa Joe did stuff for the coup de grace one time, but then Joe got up and hit him with a Uranagi, and then he would then give him to the Coquina clutch, and he got Finn Balor to pass out. So, what does this mean there? I mean, the next Raw pay-per-view is whenever Raw is taking place at Royal Rumble. There definitely isn't going to be a Raw pay-per-view in December, since we have the SmackDown brand pay-per-view Clash of Champions. So, if it is going to be Finn Balor versus Brock Lesnar at the Royal Rumble for the Universal title, I don't know if we're going to get in that we got tonight. I mean, could Joe be going after him again? I don't know, but I like in this feud. I hope it continues on, have a few more matches on Raw. I think it could really get both of these guys more on the radar, as Finn Balor, it's been all right, but since returning from his shoulder injury, he doesn't feel like he was on the same level as he was before he got injured at SummerSlam last year. And with Samoa Joe, despite losing to Lesnar at Great Balls of Fire, he still has kept that momentum. I feel like that he is a strong main event player. He just needs to have an opportunity to capitalize on a little bit more. But again, I was fine with this match. It was solid. Samoa Joe wins with the Coquina clutch. And then we had a WWE shop commercial with the club. I didn't really pay attention to this because I just didn't really care. Then we had a video package recapping the Styles and Lesnar match, which was awesome. And we had this backstage segment with Jason Jordan going to his dad and saying, "Are you really going to have me wrestle Braun Strowman because he's hurt?" And Kurt asks him what's up, and Jason said he only said he was 100% because he wanted to fight Hunter. Now he's backing out of a match against Braun Strowman, and Kurt points out how bad it would look if he canceled his son's match like that. So then Jordan agreed to compete. He was trying to set himself up as the only guy that can beat Braun Strowman, and Kurt Angle used to beat big guys all the time, and here's his dad and all. And he's his dad and all whatnot. So he pretty much saying, just saying how he looks up to him and says, I want to be like you, Dad, and whatnot. So, I mean, again, like this match, I didn't know Jason Jordan admitted that he's not 100%, even though he just wanted to fight Triple H, but he doesn't really want to fight Braun Strowman. So, again, what's going on here? Is he going towards that heel angle? Because it's probably going to get there at some point. He's going to snap and just want to, beat up his biological father pretty much. Or, this is all a ruse the whole time. I don't know. We'll have to wait and see. But, just another backstage segment. Then we have a match, though. It was Asuka and Dana Brooke, which Dana Brooke seems to now be, and when we do a turnover video, Dana seems to be reverting back to her heel role. And she said that Asuka stuck her nose where it doesn't belong in her qualifying match, and she's been studying the Asuka collection on the WWE Network all week, and she's found some holes in her game, and she's going to take away her undefeated streak. Yeah, right. Asuka completely destroyed Dana in this match. Like Dana didn't really stand a chance. Like Dana went as far as she was like patting Asuka on the head, saying "Let's go, Asuka." So it's obvious that Dana is returning to her heel role. It's not going to make much of a difference to me, honestly. Now that Emma's gone, like the only time Dana was ever really that relevant was when her and Emma were together. So I mean, honestly, face or heel, the best route to do it is just send Dana Brooke back to NXT, and it's probably not going to happen. So it's unfortunate. So she's probably just going to be just, jobbing up on the main roster, which is unfortunate. I do see the potential in her, but again, like Apollo Crews, she was brought up to the main roster way too early, and this is what we got. But, it was just, Asuka taking on, a non, local talent, an actual WWE talent, despite feeling like a jobber in Dana Brooke, and she just kicked the crap out of Dana to get the victory. Not much more to say. Just, Asuka continues to win, and, she's coming off strong after her 3 eliminations at Survivor Series, which, again, despite the fact that Survivor Series elimination match with the women, well, both of them weren't really that great. I was still happy with the result for the women's match, as Asuka eliminated 3 people, was the sole survivor, giving her the momentum going as well. So, thank you, Asuka. We're now moving along to a Miz TV segment with Roman Reigns. The Miz is an introduction, as always. He's congratulating Baron Corbin. Sorry about that. Saying how Baron Corbin became relevant for one night, but now he has more important things to pay attention to, like his guest, Roman Reigns. And he calls for him, but Reigns is not coming out. And finally, he gets impatient, but then we hear Sierra Hotel, India, Lima Delta Shield, and the Shield make their entrance coming through the crowd. And they're asked how they're doing, and they say, "Oh, we're feeling pretty good." Well, actually, no, I'm sorry. Miz said, "I'm sure you guys feeling pretty good about themselves," saying that they haven't missed a step at all, and they're just right on track after the great match they had last night. And Seth has proven that they're unstoppable and the most dominating 3-man team in WWE history, which is pretty much true. But then Miz says something like, that was a cute little introduction, but there's something that's been bothering him. The Shield has never thanked the Miz for bringing them back together, pretty much. He says, "Why do we want to thank you?" And he said, "There's never going to be a situation where the Shield is going to thank the Miz at all." But then, they get into how the Shield's talk about how, they need to get back on track, though, with some things like, Rollins and Ambrose are going to get back on track with the Raw tag titles. And then, but then Roman's like, "I don't want to be left out of this." And I'm like, "Oh, we weren't trying to leave you out of this either." I mean, but then Seth points out, the Miz is a champion because Miz was bragging about how, he may have lost last night, even though the Shield won last night. Look what he still has. And then, Roman's like, "Hey, I'm not doing anything tonight. Why don't you put that Intercontinental title on the line?" So, and then he's like, "No, you can't do that." And then Bo Dallas and then Curtis Axel, still tied up in that neck brace, just like, like begging for mercy. They stand in front of the Miz saying, you don't get a title shot against the champ like that. You got to go through us first. And Ambrose is like, "Oh, I feel so stupid. We got to go through the Miz Taraj," which is pretty much sarcasm, saying that, yeah, we know that you guys are just a bunch of cronies. And they just beat them down. Of course, the Miz runs off. They do a triple power bomb to poor Curtis Axel. And then it was announced after commercial that indeed in the main event, it will be Roman Reigns and the Miz for the Intercontinental Championship. And then we had backstage, we had Braun Strowman being interviewed and saying he's happy that Jason Jordan isn't afraid of him because that makes him different from everyone else, including Triple H. I mean, Triple H is afraid of him. So obviously, at some point, it looks like we're going to be getting a match with Triple H and Kurt Angle. Hopefully, WrestleMania 34. It seems we may have seen Braun Strowman face Triple H sometime. We could get Jason Jordan and Triple H. I don't know. This could be set up for a Jason Jordan heel turn, which I hope it is. But what can I really say? We get that match later on tonight. But then After that, though, we got a match, though, an impromptu match. It was Dean Ambrose taking on Sheamus because these teams cannot fight. How many more times? The match, it was still a good match. I mean, Rollins, Ambrose, Cesaro, and Sheamus have been able to put on some good matches. It's just starting to get really old. That's all they're feuding with. I mean, the club's crap. I mean, I know you can't really do much with them. Slater and Rhino are, never really around, and then Rhino's apparently doing stuff with politics in Michigan. And whether Raw tag team, I thought maybe they'll bring in AOP maybe or something to Raw and a few of them. I mean, the Revival are due back soon, so I'd say probably one more match between Ambrose and Rollins and Cesaro and Sheamus for the Raw tag titles. It could be like some type of stipulation and where this is the last match period, no more rematches or anything. So maybe the Shield with the titles there, and then that'll set for them to eventually drop into the Revival. And we just go from there pretty much. But see, bring some more. Despite the fact that we're limited on tag teams, and we still have some good tag wrestling this year. But again, this match was Sheamus and Dean Ambrose. It was still a good match. Again, we've seen it how many times, but it was still a good physical match as well. Rollins is out there though, like in Ambrose's corner, and Cesaro's and Sheamus's. So Cesaro tried to get in a few times to interfere. I like towards the ending where it looked like Sheamus is going to hit the bro kick on Ambrose, but Rollins literally just ran right across the ring and did like a tope suicida on Cesaro, and then off the strategy, Dean Ambrose was able to hit Sheamus with the dirty deeds to get the pinfall victory. And it was just random, like Rollins just showing no fear, just doing that dive. So I'm like, all right, cool, whatever. But the match is still solid. Moving on. We then had a backstage locker room with Matt Hardy and Jason Jordan. Jordan's asking him if he has any advice about Braun Strowman. He's confident he can beat him, but he wants some pointers. And Hardy said he's faced many Goliaths: Mark Henry, Big Show, Brock Lesnar, Behemoths for sure, but men all the same. They call Braun the monster among men, but it's not just a cute catchphrase. When he gets his hands on you, his strength is unnatural, and he's humbling experience. Matt has learned a lot in WWE and all the things you can do with ladders for one, but also that sometimes it's just not your night. Pretty much saying that, let's face it, you're probably going to get your rear end whooped by Braun Strowman. That's what he's pretty much telling Jason Jordan. And then, here was, my fate. Well, the main event was good, but here was my favorite moment. And of course, everybody's talking about. Even though it was kind of predictable at this point, it was still awesome for it was a surprise we got involving it as well, a little twist. So we have Alexa Bliss making her way to the ramp. She gets on the mic and is talking about, how people were, tweeting her last night about how, she had a solid effort against Charlotte, came a little short. I'm sorry about this, blah, blah, blah. But she's like, I don't need any pats on the back, and I don't need your support at all. She knows that she performed well, and despite losing to Charlotte, she took her to the limit, and Charlotte just got lucky. And she also only had 5 days to prepare for Charlotte, because Charlotte just won the SmackDown Women's Championship last week. But she said, no matter what, 2017, though, was her year, because she is the goddess of WWE, and there's not a single woman on the entire planet that can handle her. So first out comes Mickie James, which, as I said in my WrestleMania 22 review the other day, when Mickie James gets an opportunity to talk on the microphone, even back when Psycho Mickie, or when this feud with Alexa Bliss first started before TLC, and even her this, she can cut some pretty darn good promos. But she just seems confident on the microphone, and it all seems real when she's talking about it. So she gets on and pretty much just says, who else is besides her is getting sick and tired of hearing the same old crap from Miss Biscuit Butt. She says, I don't know if you realize, but Survivor Series over, and it's back to Raw business, and the only business Mickey's concerned about is the championship. And then Bayley comes out, and she's like, I'm sorry, but the first time I actually do agree with Alexa. 2017 has been her year, but the year's not over yet, sister. She's not those same women that Alexa beat for the title. And with all due respect to Mickie, she's going to hop that line and and saying, I want to get that title back. And Bayley for once did not. I actually was okay with this. She did not sound like just that fangirl, of that dream. She sounded serious, and that's what we need more from Bayley. As I keep saying, if they want to make Bayley look good again, what they need to do, yes, keep the fangirl gimmick on her. It's all fine and dandy. But what the difference was in NXT, she knew when it was time to get serious. And on here, she just keeps acting like a child pretty much with her character. So she got more serious promos like that, then sure, then we're good to go. Of course, Alexa thought they were both joking with her. And then comes Sasha Banks, says, Raw deserves a great women's champion. No offense to Bayley or Mickey, saying they don't deserve a huggable champion or a highly decorated champion. They need a legit boss champion and not a little B like Alexa Bliss. And then I thought maybe it was going to be Nia Jax, but no, it was Alicia Fox saying, if Raw needs a boss champion, maybe the boss of the Raw's team captain, Alexa Fox. Wow. Captain Fox, ripping off her robe and her ring gear, should have this opportunity. And Raw would have not beaten SmackDown 2 years in a row if it wasn't for her guidance. And Alexa says, thank you, Captain Delusional. But before thanking the rest, but I thank you all for just wasting my time. No one deserves a shot in her eyes. And then she goes to leave the ring as usual, saying no one deserves a shot at my title. I was still mad that Alicia Fox. I would rather have been Nia Jax. Of course, if what happened later would have involved Nia Jax, I'm not sure how that would have played out, even though what happened to Alicia was kind of hilarious, just showed her true colors. But then Kurt Angle came out and he says, I don't mind you leaving, Alexa, but I want you to leave with this thought, though. She's going to get another chance to prove that she still is the champion that she claims she is, as you will have a new number one contender when she faces the winner of the Fatal 4-Way number one contenders match, which begins, of course, right now. So we have a Fatal 4-Way. Alicia Fox, Mickie James, Bayley, and Sasha Banks. Now, this match wasn't much of a match at all. There wasn't that much offense in it, because this was my favorite moment of the night. Let me pull out my phone for a second. I'm going to play something. And let me tell you what, when this sound was heard, the crowd popped. And again, I was watching it, and I popped as well. I'm like, yes, finally. But we heard this. That's right. After, I'd say, about a year and a half, it's been speculated for a while. There was a moment, probably earlier in the year, where I thought that there was no way she was going to be coming back. Paige made her WWE return. And again, you may, opinions aside of how you may feel about what Paige had just gone through this past year, the suspensions, the neck injuries, the heat she had with WWE, her relationship with Del Rio, and all that stuff. It was still glad to see Paige back. She seemed like everything that went down. She said she was enjoying herself after what this happened. Just everything she's been through. I was glad to see her make her way back. She did it. She had 2 suspensions again. She had a neck injury. She was dealing with heat because of her relationship with Alberto Del Rio, which, again, she's 25 years old now. She can make her own decisions, but it's like she was in a little bit of an unhealthy environment for it. Just my honest opinion about it, but she's a grown woman. She made her own decisions, and she made her way back to WWE. And she came out again. The crowd popped big time for her when she returned. It was a really huge pop. I can't remember the last time we got the pop we got, but she comes out, and then she said, "Did you miss me?" And then she's like, "I'm sorry, but I don't mean to interrupt the business, but she just had something to tell everyone that she's back." And then she said, "However, though, I didn't come alone." And I'm like, what does this mean? And then, out of nowhere, this was a surprise, came Sonya Deville and Mandy Rose. Now, of course, I know who Sonya Deville is, But Mandy Rose, I had not really seen much of her at all on NXT, and most of her work has been on house shows. I had to look up a little bit of research on who Mandy Rose is. Well, she won. She was a Tough Enough runner-up in 2015. I remember seeing her maybe like once or twice on the NXT TV shows last year. And Sonya Deville had a different name. It was Daria. I can't remember what her name was. I remember I was talking about this with Robbie One Kenobi on my NXT review the other night. How he doesn't like the name Sonya Deville. He liked her other name. It was Daria. I can't remember the last name. I'm sorry, but it sounded like it fit her more with you know, the MMA, the boxing style gimmick as well. They show up and they just wreak havoc. They take out Mickie James. They take out Sasha Banks. They take out Bayley. They stare down Alicia Fox and they move 1 foot towards her, and she just went running and screaming like a coward. She pretty much is. So I'm like, bye bye. But yeah, they took them all out. And then Paige hit her one of her finishers, the Rampage, on Bayley, and the three of them just, you know, stood into the ring over how they did. So I don't know if they're trying to, you know, create like, you know, like a women's undisputed era stable or whatever on the main roster or anything like that. I know it's a little far saying that, but like, you know, I was surprised to see that. I mean, I will talk a little bit more about this. I'm going to be doing my Eternal Alert for Paige to return as a heel, which I felt that she should have was the right direction for her to go if she would come back, even though I kept thinking she wasn't going to come back when she did come back. But I'm definitely very interested to see where this goes. Again, I'm just surprised. Sonya Deville, though, and Mandy Rose. I mean, I'm not saying I'm against it, but it's like you're not the most established ones yet. But again, I'll talk about that more in my Turn Alert on Paige turning heel, which will be coming out sometime either maybe tonight, if not first thing tomorrow. But yeah, we come back from commercial break though, and then the three of them are walking backstage, and then Renee tries to interview them, and Paige starts by saying that it's been a whole year's worth of, and she is cut off as Alexa Bliss came around the corner, and she said, you don't need to explain anything, but just congratulations to them. And Paige said, oh, that's so sweet of you to introduce ourselves to you. And she introduces Sonya Deville and Mandy Rose to them, and she's like, nice to meet you. And you just stand there and just stare her down, and she's like, it's nice to meet you. And then Paige just kicks her, and they just wreak havoc and just beat her down as well, like throw it into the loading doors and the barricades and stuff like that, and just beat Alexa Bliss down, and just, you know, like, work's taken care of here, walks away. Again, like, what's going on here? Like, you know, this is you know, different. I mean, it's Paige, you know, returning with an aggressive attitude, has this alliance that we're still not sure, like, you know, why Sonya Deville and Mandy Rose are brought into the picture. But again, we'll see what happens, as, you know, if Paige should be the solid heel being built up to eventually be the one to be dethroned by Asuka winning her Raw Women's Championship. Sure, take my money. I'll see Paige and Sasha go at it. Paige and Bayley, Paige and Mickie James. You know, she already faced Charlotte a few times. Paige and Becky, if they ever come across paths again. You know, we got a lot of options here. So again, Paige is finally back. Talk more about her and her little stable, though, on my Turn Alert I'm going to do after this review. But then we got a match, Braun Strowman and Jason Jordan. The match didn't really last too long, though, as they had a little bit of offense in before Jordan's knee buckled and he slipped out of the ring and just started walking away hobbling, showing that he was hurt. And then it turned into a beatdown with a chair by Kane. Kane came out targeting Strowman, as you know, he's trying to prove that he's, you know, the better monster on Raw, whatnot, blah, blah, blah. They had a match last. They had a brawl to end Raw last week. They had a chair out, a table. They didn't even use the table. And then Strowman just power slams him through the ring apron. And then Kane just attacks with the chair. So again, unless they're doing a buried alive match to retire Kane and to help put Braun Strowman over, then why are we still doing this? What was the point of Kane coming back? It just seems pointless now right now, especially since they moved him to Raw. it just still seems weird. But the beatdown though ends after Kane like puts a chair up to Strowman's throat and like slams him against the steel steps. And Strowman he's trying to get medical attention. He was refusing help, but he was having a hard time breathing. Which I mean, I'm sure he was selling it pretty well, but it was scary to hear. So I mean, again, like I'm pretty sure he was selling it, but it was scary to hear. So I'm sure Braun's going to be back telling Kane, "I'm not finished with you." But that was that. And then we had this cruiserweight stuff. The cruiserweights, just exactly what we need. Boy. So we had Enzo come out with his Zo Train, which I'm not going to rant again, as I keep saying, I do not understand why on earth is Enzo having friends, unless if they're going to eventually just turn on him and they're just sucking up to him because they want to get title opportunities. And, you know, Enzo, he's the one to defend his title against anybody because he knows that he'll get his rear end whooped if he doesn't, you know, cheat. So he comes out, though. He says, those of you in Survivor Series, I've still won the championship, but it wasn't easy. He had to overcome an army of a couple of haters. And with Thanksgiving being around the corner, he thought there would not be a better opportunity for the Zo Train than to let them know that he's thankful for them. He's like, women can't keep their hands off Noam Dar, which, oh, come on. It was just Alicia Fox. And let's not even go down that route. Tony Nese has gained 3 more abs. Daivari has shown him his bank account, his wardrobe. And whoever told you money can't buy happiness is a liar. Who hasn't been on the town with Enzo? And last, but certainly not least, Drew Gulak, just, you know, endorsing about his PowerPoint presentations and Drew saying his infrastructure has grown by 23%. But then we have Rich Swann, Cedric Alexander, Mustafa Ali, and Akira Tozawa make their way to the ring. And Enzo's like, oh, you guys want to come and join the Zo Train? But you have to prove yourselves worthy. And Cedric says, we're not here to join. They're out here for the same reason everybody else says. They want a title shot. The only difference is they're willing to earn it, unlike your little gang of suck-ups right here, which, again, if the only reason why, you know, these heels, because they're villains, are, you know, are being buddies with Enzo all of a sudden because they're trying to suck up and get title opportunities, then, you know, whatever. But I don't care too much there. But then Amore's asking them, like, oh, did Kalisto poison you guys? It's only clear by the numbers that the Zo Train is the only way to the top of 205 Live, and the guy who's at the top of 205 Live right now didn't fall there. So either get on board or get out of the way. And it's one like, why don't you make us get out of the way? But that's right, you can't make us get out of the way because without your boys, you're nothing more than a catchphrase and a T-shirt. And then, you know, the brawl breaks out, but, you know, Enzo escapes and it sets up an 8-man tag match. It was Akira Tozawa, Cedric Alexander, Mustafa Ali, Rich Swann taking on the Zo Train, Ari Daivari, Drew Gulak, Noam Dar, and Tony Cruz. The faces won. The match was you know, all right. Had a couple decent spots in it, but it managed, you know, Enzo just running around and other people, you know, I mean, it told a story, you know, Enzo just, you know, using them to, you know, get out of the way as, you know, people are attacking him. But, you know, he, you know, someone else he should always pull someone else to bite his bullet pretty much as he did in this match. The match ended with the 054 splash by Mustafa Ali. He hit that on Noam Dar. Again, didn't really establish anybody who was going to, you know, be a contender or whatnot. I'm assuming it may be, hopefully Cedric Alexander will be next, but if he's going to lose to Enzo, then maybe not him yet. I was wondering if we were going to get the rumor of Hideo Itami appearing on SmackDown on 205 Live. Unfortunately, I don't want to see that happen, but I thought we'll get him debuting tonight as well. But it didn't happen, so whatever. And then we had Kurt Angle interviewed outside the training room saying he's going to address Strowman and Kane later. He checks out Jason Jordan, but The Miz comes up and complains about being forced to defend the title against Roman Reigns. But Kurt tells him he essentially has to suck it up before returning his attention to his biological son. And it sends up to and of course we go to break after that, and then we go back from commercial, and Elias is in the ring singing a song about how he beat Matt Hardy last night, saying he's in a good mood, and also Raw did great about Survivor Series. But then Matt Hardy comes out and he interrupts, and they go on. They have a brawl, and they beat down. But then he goes for a twist of fate, and then Elias Sampson just gets out of the ring. So it's a short little brawl. But I do like the backstage fallout interview they had. Is it's just what makes me wonder more is Matt Hardy getting closer and closer to that broken gimmick. Don't want to get our hopes up yet, but he's showing some signs of it here and there. So we'll see, whatever. And then we had the Intercontinental Championship match. It was Roman Reigns and The Miz, the main event of tonight's episode of Raw. And I thought the match was surprisingly pretty good. The Miz seemed to be a little more control of the match than we thought. We thought he'd be, a little bit more of a coward in this match, but I didn't think he was quite as much. He tried to outsmart him a few times, but he hung in there pretty well, and he took the beating, and he gave quite a beating to Roman at the beginning. And then when Roman though started to pick up momentum though, we thought the Miz tried to come out, but since the Shield took them out earlier instead, which I was still a little scratching my head about this because Cesaro and Sheamus came out, and didn't a few weeks ago they made it that they weren't really a team. Miz was on his own, the same Raw, whatever. Braun Strowman rose from the garbage can. I was a little bit confused by that. So I don't understand why Cesaro and Sheamus are still helping out the Miz. Even though they have their issues with Rollins and the Ambrose, Reigns is involved in them, but still, it's like they said, oh, you're on your own. Why would they really care? Until the Shield came out and took them out. And then distraction at first, the Miz did hit the skull-crushing finale on Roman Reigns, but Reigns kicked out of it. And then after Ambrose and Rollins took out Cesaro and Sheamus, the Miz walked right into a spear, and Roman Reigns is your Intercontinental Champion, and he is now officially a Grand Slam champion as well, as he's won the world title, Intercontinental United States Championship, and tag titles as well. So I know some people are probably thinking, oh crap, Roman's a champion again and whatnot, and I'm not completely upset. All I ask for is that it's a mid-card title, it's not the world title, even though when he's chasing for the world title, he doesn't seem to be getting over too well. But when he is a champion, been a world champion, I thought he's been pretty solid, especially with his feud with AJ Styles, and his short little run with the title for a few months at the WrestleMania 32 back in 2016, and his run leading up to the Royal Rumble in 2016 wasn't too bad either. So when he's champion, he's not too bad, except of course his U.S. title run last year, which was terrible. So he did do like a backstage segment, thanking his family and whatnot, which that was nice, as well as saying, I have this now, whoever wants it, come get it. So hopefully Roman Reigns will, in fact, be a fighting champion. He could be a good mid-card title if you let him book to defend it, not just twice in like 5 months or however long it was against Chris Jericho. And it took Kevin Owens and Chris Jericho in a 2-on-1 handicap match to defeat him to get the U.S. title off of him. Make whoever dethrones Roman Reigns of this Intercontinental title, make it looks like something that was earned. Like, heck, it could be Samoa Joe for all I care for. Have him and Roman feud for the Intercontinental title if they are going to go with Roman and Brock at WrestleMania. Just don't make a main event, and 2, don't make it be Roman Reigns win the Royal Rumble. Have Shinsuke Nakamura win the Royal Rumble, and he takes on AJ Styles for the WWE Championship in the main event at WrestleMania. So yeah, the Shield celebrate afterwards with the big dog as Roman is now an Intercontinental Champion again. Let's see where it goes. Just hopefully they book him better as Intercontinental Champion than they did as United States Champion. And that is pretty much the show, guys. Again, I didn't really get to catch the whole glimpse of Raw, and I mainly just watched a lot of highlights and whatnot. But I got the main idea of what happened on tonight's show, and it was a solid show. The return of Paige, again the main roster debuts of Sonya Deville and Mandy Rose, Roman Reigns winning the Intercontinental title, a few other odds ends here and there. We had a pretty solid show tonight. I'm going to give tonight's episode of Raw a B. Check my polls on Twitter here real quick. They may participate in this. Just 2 votes. One said A, one said B. All right, that's cool. But yes, that's it. Thank you those who tuned in to watch this live. If you watch this afterwards, what are your thoughts on Monday Night Raw? What grade would you give it? Leave a thought down in the comment section below. And as always, be sure to click that like and subscribe for more content to come on this channel. I'll be live tomorrow for my SmackDown review, Wednesday night for my NXT review. I will again be doing turn alerts for Dana Brooke turning heel again, even though there's not going to be too much to talk about. But we'll do one on Paige turning heel as well. Again, it's like 1:30 now. I'll maybe do it, record them tonight. If not, I'll wait till tomorrow to do them. But yeah, other than that, again, stay tuned for the WrestleMania review series. I'm still trying to finish WrestleMania 23. It's been a couple busy past couple days as well. But I will continue on the WrestleMania review series as well. So again, just stay tuned to all that to come. Thank you again for watching. Continue to subscribe to my channel. I got a lot of reviews from my Survivor Series review, almost at 800 subscribers. Thanks again as always for your support, guys. And with that, I'm checking out, guys. Have a great night.